And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the always pressing PGA DFS podcast. This week we'll be previewing the 2021 WGC-Dell Technologies Match play out of Austin, Texas. It's a 64-man field, but it's like top 70 because a handful of guys are not playing this week. You can check me on Twitter at BDintric and one of my co-hosts on the show on Twitter at DFS Golf Gods, Jesse. How we doing?
Doing well, dude. How are you?
Doing good. Glad Honda's behind us, so that's good.
Yeah.
Move on to a new tournament because I felt like I got eaten alive by PGA National just watching that. But and our other co-host on the show, you can find him on Twitter at Kevin's Delight. Kevin, how we doing, man?
Doing great, guys. How you doing?
Good. Just real quick, we won't go super deep in the Honda. We kind of talked about it before the pod, but we have a lot to discuss on WGC. But I don't know about you. I felt like, DFS-wise, that kind of ran short when the cut was not where I thought it would be. But Lowry being 7 under after Friday, I thought things were looking good, and he completely just destroyed himself on the weekend. Any thoughts, guys? As it was pretty much Matt Jones against the world. Jesse?
Yeah, he opened up really good and just kind of played steady golf and, won by 5. I didn't watch any golf this weekend. I was too busy watching basketball and playing myself. But
you watching the NIT?
Why would I watch the NIT tournament?
I'm just asking for a friend.
There was no Western Kentucky was in the NIT. So I just didn't I didn't pay a whole heck of a lot of attention, and obviously it was kind of a boring Sunday, except for obviously some carnage there.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Kevin? What did you think about the Honda?
It was pretty impressive this weekend for sure. One takeaway yesterday was it appeared as though they really softened the bear trap. Those teams for the lunch and
we're losing you, Kevin. We're losing you.
I believe we've totally lost him.
Yes, we've totally lost Kevin. We have totally lost him. So, okay, Kevin's back now. Thoughts, Kevin?
I was saying that pretty impressive. Matt Jones, tee to green all week, really, his incredible start. The only disappointing thing about the weekend was the fact that it appeared they softened up the bear trap over the weekend, or at least on Sunday. Both 15 and 17 played a heck of a lot shorter than normal did. So there wasn't as much carnage as you used to see.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting tournament. It's the best way I can say it. It was it's pretty much over early, it felt like, and guys would make pushes, but no one could catch Matt. It was he put a hell of a performance out there. A lot of people were reporting after Thursday's 8 under or whatever that it was one of the best rounds of golf they've seen on tour, just all things considered. So
did you see what Lee Westwood said?
No, I did not. I just figured he packed his bags early after that 8 over on Friday.
That's because I went and done him. But he after Matt Jones's round, I'm assuming maybe before he went out, or I think maybe somebody asked him, what do you think about Matt Jones's 61 today? And he said, I thought he still had a few holes left.
That's good. That's good. That's real good. That is really, really good. All right, let's just wrap it up from there. Let's go to the WGC-Dell Technologies. We'll call it the match play from now on at Austin Country Club. Jesse, they played here, I think, 4 or 5 years now. What do you got for past event history?
Yeah, so last year was canceled due to a COVID-19 pandemic. I don't know if anybody's heard of that thing that's going on in the world still, but so 2019 winner was Kevin Kisner. He was the 48th seed, the 50th ranked player in the world at that point, and he defeated Matt Kuchar, who was the 23rd seed, 3-2 on that Sunday to win. Bubba won it in 2018. He was the 35th seed over Kisner, who was the 32nd seed, 7-6. And then DJ won in 2017 as the number 1 overall seed, number 1 overall player in the world over John Rom, 1 up. Jason Day's won this twice. Rory's a past winner. Kuchar's won this in the past. Poulter has won this tournament in the past. Tiger Woods has won it 3 times.
Yeah. The one in Austin, or at least overall, I've heard things as we get into picking the quadrant here. We're going to go quadrant up DraftKings by DraftKings, but it's not always a heavy favorite thing. People don't get carried away with that one. We mentioned Austin Country Club. It's a Pete Dye design golf course. You will hear that quite a bit. We saw Pete Dye just a few weeks ago as well at the Players. So there are specialists at Pete Dye, but it'll be a little different this week because it's match play. the guy has a 9, they're not out of it type thing, which is a beautiful. I love match play personally. I think it's a lot of fun. And this course is really good. It's par 71, 7,108 yards, and it's good because the bombers can attack it if they want, but the shorter hitters don't get penalized either. They can hang out with the big boys. So that's a lot of fun. Bermuda Greens, they're smaller than most greens, but not super challenging. Apparently, they have overseeded with POA right now. So go find your filters there or listen to whatever expert you want to listen to. But for the most part, it's Bermuda Greens. Go check out Cecil Peets. He might tell you strokes gained, all kinds of greens. There's 110 bunkers, so it's typical Pete Dye where he makes you hit certain shots for your approach game. It's all about the approach game at this course. If you bomb it, it's your wedge game. If you don't, it's kind of a middle to low iron type game. But 110 bunkers, water comes into play on 5 or 6 different holes. The back 9 is where most of the water's at, and you also get Lake Austin in the back, all the cool pictures with the bridge and all that good stuff. A lot of elevation changes. There's a couple drivable par 4s almost. There's one, if you hit the right slope, it almost rolls all the way down to the green. The par 5s are very gettable. Very friendly golf course, to say the least. So
it's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, it's a great time. So it should be great. Kevin's having technical difficulties, so whenever he jumps in, he'll be back with us. Otherwise, it's like old school times, Jesse, and we'll get her done like we always do.
Man, you know how to do this.
Yes, we do. A few times, I think. Any other thoughts? Like, what are you focusing on, I guess, strategy-wise this week?
Yeah. This is you remember a couple years ago, was it 2018 was the first time that we had this, or was it 2019? On DraftKings, that is.
I want to say it was 18. I want to say we've done it twice. Remember the first year, took us all by storm, and the second year, I think we felt better about it, but it still took us all by storm. So yes,
right. The first year, I remember just being the one thing about it is it's very high scoring. If you remember that.
Well, if your guys advance,
right? But like the winning score will be probably in the 700 or 800s, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
In big field GPPs, obviously. And the key thing. And, most people probably know this, but maybe there's somebody who's playing this event for the first time is to make sure that you have at least 4 golfers who can make the final 4 in each lineup you make, because you want to try to optimize your winning potential. And that's where it gets really tricky. So it's, unless, obviously if you're hand building just a few lineups, not a huge deal. But if you are, mass entering 150 lineups, it becomes one of those things where you do have to set some rules on, like on Labs. I know you can on Fantasy Golf National. They have rules you can set basically to exclude certain players if you have a certain player in the lineup. So that's kind of the thing. It's a bit of a mind fuck, but it's a lot of fun. If obviously if you got a good chance, because basically by the time you get around to Saturday, there's so many dead lineups. If you're still alive with 4 guys and they're winning, you're going to shoot up the leaderboard. So
big time. It's a blast. Like I said earlier, I love match play. I love to watch match play. It's like, that's why we love the Ryder Cup, the President's Cup, except there's really no teams here. It's one man for themselves, which is fun. But I like it because one bad hole doesn't crush you. Like we even saw last week at the Honda. If a guy had a bad hole, you're packing your bags. It was over. Where, here, the beauty of match play, it's, new hole, let's go. Like we're only 1 down now. No big deal.
Right. Yeah.
So that's a lot of fun. We've, like you mentioned, a lot of the past history. A lot of guys can really compete with the best of them. So it's all good. But it's a fun event that we'll definitely have to enjoy this weekend. But until then, Jesse mentioned you want to make sure you have all 4 in the final 4. I think what I saw last year, or maybe it was 2 years ago, if you had 6 of your guys in the Elite 8, you finished very, very well, and I think the winner had 3 of the final 4. So, because it's really tough to get the 4 of the 4. That's common sense stuff there.
It's almost like picking the final 4 in the NCAA tournament. It's very difficult to do. But that's what you have to try to optimize your lineup, every single lineup, to where you have the potential to get 4 in, because you have no shot if you don't have the 4 guys to win. If you don't, at least don't have 3 probably, or at least 2. I don't know. Long story short, you want to optimize yourself to where you think the 4 guys you think that are going to be there in the final 4.
Yeah, so that's why we'll go through the quadrants. You can go on the PGA Tour website, and they have a bracket you can print out if that helps you build your lineups better to make sure you're not screwing up. DraftKings did a cool thing. I didn't see it on the online system, but if you use the app, I saw where they actually have which pods they're in and their overall rankings. So that helps you, at least when you're building it. If you have like 3 guys in the 5, probably a bad idea. So redo your lineup builds. So that's a pretty good deal. Kevin, any strategies you're ensuing this week as you build lineups?
Yeah, definitely. So much of it is based off, like you're saying, try and find the guys that you feel are going to make it down to the final 4, because otherwise you have no chance. Really, really try and do your best to avoid picking guys that'll play each other if they advance from their pod. Try and pick out special quadrants that you think are areas that you can really excel in, and go from there.
All right, so let's just get at it. We'll kind of build a bracket here, and we might not all agree on everything. That's the fun of it. That's why we'll have different lineups this week. But we'll start from the top left, and we'll work our way through a bracket like a basketball bracket, as Jesse said. And we'll start with the 1 seed, DJ, 11-5 on DK. He's got Kevin Na at 7,100, Bobby Mack at 65, and Adam Long at 6K. So DJ's obviously the heavy favorite here. Doesn't mean everything, though. Kevin Na's played great at this place, plays great at Pete Dye courses. Bobby Mack's been pretty impressive. It's an intriguing deal. Obviously, DJ's favored, but Jesse, what do you like in this 4-pack up here?
Yeah, I mean, I've got DJ advancing out of this group. I do think Kevin Na does have a little bit of, he's playable on DraftKings. Let me just say that. But as far as like who I think is going to win this, to me, it's hands down Dustin Johnson. I think he can bring his B game and still almost beat these guys. So.
You would think so. What about you, Kevin? What do you like in this little pod?
Yeah, I agree. By far, it's DJ, and it gets interesting right out the gate, right? I mean, does anyone really see the other 3 guys advancing here? Maybe, maybe not. But if you don't play DJ, then you open yourself up to some big issues early. As DJ can win these first couple rounds pretty easily.
Yeah, I agree. DJ should be the one that wins this one easily. My, I guess, counter argument, I would say, is if you think when we go to these next pods down that'll face him in the next couple rounds, if you think one of those guys knocks him out, do you get different and try to pick a cheaper guy in this range to be different in DK, or you just skip this whole pod altogether when it comes to DraftKings? Either one of you guys. If that makes sense at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, Kevin Na is a little bit playable on DraftKings, and then I don't know how many people are going to pay up for DJ, so that'll be interesting to see what his ownership is.
Yeah, because basically, like I'm saying, if you think Sung Jae's group, Webb's group, or Hatton's group, one of them knocks him out before the final 4, do you want to take a chance there and just skip this whole pod, or like take the value? Like a Bobby Mack at 65 could open up your entire lineup type thing. So that's where it gets interesting. But then again, if you think DJ wins, what's the point in playing those guys?
Right.
But I just wanted to bring that up to the listeners, because that's kind of an idea. When you're building these things, you got to kind of think of the total package. Like, sure, it might be an easy first round, but where do they go from there? So we'll put DJ moving through on this one, and we'll go to the 16 seed. Sung Jae M leads this little pod, $8,800. Victor Perez at 66, Leishman at 68, and Henley at 75. This pod to me is wide open. This is a very, very fun pod. This is where you can get different in your builds if you need value. There's a few pods like this. Kevin, what do you like in this one?
Like them all, really. You could make a case for any of these guys to advance past the first stage. And so if you do like any of these guys to advance, you definitely want to pick the guy that you feel as though is going to be the one that's going to knock off DJ.
Yeah, I agree. What about you, Jesse?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's Kevin Na. I don't know.
No,
Perez is playing.
Wrong pod.
I'm sorry. Sung Jae M. For me, it's not. For whatever reason, you got Kevin Na on my mind. For me, it's Sung Jae M here. Perez is playing okay. Leishman is very up and down. You could, depending on the weather, consider Leishman if it's going to be windy. And Henley, I don't have any interest in playing Henley anywhere and or picking him. I've got Sung Jae going through here.
Do you think anything at all about Henley having some success in the past on die courses?
Good point.
To me, I wouldn't really weight that too awful much this week, just because it is match play versus stroke play.
The one thing I will mention, this is Sung Jae and Victor Perez's debut at this event. Leishman's played all 4. He's finished 9th last year, 52nd, 9th, and 51st. And Henley's only played it once. That's 2 years ago. He finished 36th. Oh, and obviously last year didn't happen, so take that back another year. But the last 4 versions here, Leishman's 9th, 52nd, 9th, 51st. So
Let's
he played
just
pretty well here.
let's just say every time we say last year, we mean
Yes.
2019.
Okay. Let's just agree on that now. Perfect. And Knopf 5th, 52nd, 9th, and 17th. So yeah. But I'm gonna go Leash in this one, but it's pretty much up for grabs. But I like the idea of a $6,800 Leishman if you need to get weird. At the same time, just remember, he's probably not getting past DJ. Do we all agree DJ gets to the Sweet 16?
You mean the Elite Eight?
Oh yeah, the Elite Eight. Sorry, God, this is all.
It's weird because it goes from
Quarterfinals.
64 down to 16. And
Yeah, that's where I get
going
confused.
64 to
real quick.
32,
16,
which
to
I
8.
think would be cooler if they did take the
That'd be
top
awesome.
2. But anyway,
Okay,
I
so-
think DJ gets to the Elite Eight.
You good with that, Kevin?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we'll bring that up later. We got DJ in the Elite Eight. All right, the next part of the pod, we have Webb Simpson, the 9th seed at 9,100, Casey 89, Hughes 61, Taylor Gooch 66. More properly priced for Taylor Gooch after last week's $9,300. Another range though, where Webb, as good as he is, and this course should fit him great, he's not locked in. Personally, for me, I kind of like Casey at 89 in this range. Casey's played extremely well in match play. We know that far too well when it comes to match play. What do you guys like in this range? We'll start with you, Jesse.
I've got Webb coming out. I do think it's close between him and Casey. They both have. I know Webb's played Ryder Cups. Obviously, Casey has too. Casey's played a lot of match play. 37, 26, and 5 all time in match play. So he's obviously got the plenty of experience playing match play. But I don't know. I just kind of feeling Webb, getting his ball around and getting out of this group. I think it's a toss up though between him and Casey.
Real quick, Hughes and Gooch, this is their debuts here. Casey 9th, 17th, 9th the last 3 years. He's played all 4 here. Webb 56th, 29th, 58th the last 3. So Casey's got the advantage on history here, but yeah, he's the higher seed. Kevin, what do you like in this one?
Yeah, Webb's history here isn't great. I sent kind of side with you here, Bubba, on Casey. I do think that this pod is going to be determined on the last day when Webb and Paul play each other.
Yeah, I think this pod, it's got the feel of a couple, all squared matches after 18 and some goofy stuff happening here with this group. So could be some fun ones. Also, we didn't get into it deep, but go check the DraftKings scoring. There's all kind of little niches. If you get extra points by how many holes you finish ahead of. There's all kinds of different deals you get there, so keep that in mind. If a guy withdraws, you get a heck of a bonus. It's pretty crazy, but little things like that. All right, the final pod in this bracket section, the 8th seed, Tyrell Hatton, 8,600, Lee Westwood, 77, Sergio Garcia's 83, Matt Wallace, 7,000. This is your Euro Ryder Cup preview.
Yeah.
But this one's wide open to me. Kevin, what do you like in this range?
Yeah, this one's great. I probably to save some money, I'd go Lee or Sergio coming out here.
Yeah, Sergio 5th and 9th the last 2 years, 30th, 18th. So he's been great in this event. Hatton 9th, 17th, the 3 years he's been here the last 3 years. He's done very well also. I could see saving with Sergio for sure. I don't mind a Hatton either, but Sergio at his price point 83 is not too bad. What about you, Jesse?
Yeah, I'm on Hatton coming out here. I will say though, especially for DK purposes, I expect Hatton to be pretty highly owned. I know at least looking at Mayo's bracket, he had Hatton going pretty far. So keep that in mind. If you wanted to fade, this is a great place, in my opinion, to do so on DraftKings and just take whoever you think, Westwood, Garcia, Wallace, comes out of here. But I personally have got Hatton winning this group.
So you got Hatton winning this group. All right.
I'm good with Casey coming out of the previous one
So going to the Elite Eight in this bottom, you got Casey.
I've got Hatton, but
you got Hatton. What about you, Kevin? This is where it gets fun now.
Yeah, I mean, since I like Casey to come out on top, and I like Westwood or Garcia here, I'll go Casey to play DJ.
I'm gonna go Casey as well, but I'll put both down so we have talking points later. I'll take Casey and
2 out of 3. You guys win.
Okay, so Casey. So we got DJ and Casey in the Elite Eight. But see, I like this discussion because this is what people need to see when they do their build their lineups. You need to get the Elite Eight picks. So
I'm with you.
Maybe if you build 3 lineups, you build a Hatton and a Sergio, 2 different ones, basically, or something like that. Just you don't have to switch all 6 golfers. Make 4 guys and then have 2 pivots, stuff like that in these closer regions here and then take the quote-unquote easier picks somewhere else. All right, we drop down to the bottom quadrant on the left side of the bracket. The 5 seed Bryson DeChambeau at 10-9, Fleetwood 78, Siwoo at 73, Rosner at 62. All I know is I'm not playing Rosner, and I really hope Fleetwood or Kim wins this because I'd love to see Bryson just blow up, even though all the TV people want Bryson going deep, obviously. But something about Bryson getting knocked out early just screams entertainment to me. Jesse, what do you like in this one?
I can't wait to watch Bryson on this golf course. There's that one. There's a one par 5, I think, that's down a hill, and like DJ hit one.
Yeah, you can roll it down
close
pretty
to
good.
400.
Mm-hmm.
I think Rory. 1 year.
So, down past that cart path, right?
Right, right. I mean, it's straight downhill. So Bryson should be able to hit it 500 easy, I think. I like Bryson to win this. I think it's an interesting group. I feel like it's a good draw maybe for Bryson. Siwoo, I have no want or need to play at all. Fleetwood, okay, maybe, but he's not. Rosner's interesting. When I saw this group, I was like, who is this Rosner guy? He's obviously a European Tour player, ranked whatever, close to 58th or whatever he is in the world. His last few starts in the European Tour: 1st, 26th, 9th, 16th, 36th, 1st, 20th, 21st, 10th, 28th. So,
I guess if you want to go YOLO.
I mean, that's going back to September of last year. I mean, this year he hasn't, finished outside the top 26 in 4 starts in 2021. Has 2 wins in his last, 6 or 7 appearances, 6 tournaments. The guy's playing pretty well now. I don't personally know him, but I'm sure there's plenty of Euro guys out there that do. So I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, it's obviously
200.
Obviously his debut. Bryson's only time here was last go around. Finished 40th. Fleetwood 24th, 17th, 39th. Siwoo 61st, 9th, and 30th. Siwoo, the Pete Dye specialist. Kevin, what do you like in this pod?
Yeah, I'll go Bryson too.
All right. Well, I won't buck the system. I'll go with you guys on Bryson because I do think he's the best and he should win this pod. But man, it'd be so entertaining to watch him tilt, or at least I hope he gets pushed on some holes, like go deep, because he will have the blowups, the 9s and stuff. That'll be fun. But because he might be more aggressive, knowing, hey, if I lose a hole, I lose a hole. It's cool.
100% he will be.
Yeah. And so that'll make it even more entertaining. So then maybe I do want him playing the weekend. That might be get him versus Rory some way somehow, because Rory's already mentioned he's in his head. Like, so that like free real estate, that'd be entertaining. But that's gonna be that have to be the finals. Looking at
the final match, yeah.
So I don't know if that's gonna happen. All right, the next part here: the 12 seed Tony Finau at 92, Kokrak 75, Zalatoris 79, Fratelli 65. Poor Tony, he gets put up against Zalatoris and Kokrak. This is like Jesse's little love child over here.
God, what a group!
Yeah, what do you like in here, Jesse?
I mean, talk about guys that I always tout, except for Fratelli.
Yep. I
mean, Finau, Kokrak, Zalatoris. I think Kokrak's interesting at 75. I mean, 7,500 right on DraftKings, correct?
Yes, yeah. Correct.
He's a guy who when his irons get on, like, he can just absolutely throw darts constantly. So obviously, if he's playing well and he's throwing darts, that can be really demoralizing to somebody who's playing against him. So keep that in mind. I've got Zalatoris coming out of the group. I think I think you can play all 3 of these guys as far as Finau, Kokrak, Zalatoris, myself. But I got Zalatoris winning. What
about you, Kevin?
Yeah, it's kind of wide open too, right? Fratelli probably has a bunch of experience here by going to UT as well. So could be any of these guys. I kind of tend to lean toward Finau here.
Yeah, it is wide open. I like the Fratelli angle, the Texas native. You mentioned going to UT, not native, but he played a lot of golf in Texas. Willie Z is the popular name, probably going to be chalky in this range. Kokrak coming in an amazing 4th, a 9th, and 8th, and a 9th, his last 3 tournaments. But Willie Z and Kokrak have not played here before, so that's something to keep in mind. Finau a 40th and a 17th. I like Kokrak in this range, so we all have a different pick coming out of here, which tells you how wide open this one is. For the bracket's sake, I'll pick Willie Z to give us that one because I love Finau, but I'm just not feeling him at all this week. But nothing would surprise me. So as a group here, Bryson versus Willie Z, who we taking?
I got Will Zalatoris going on, but I mean, obviously Bryson's going to will be favored in that matchup.
If it's Bryson versus Willie, Kevin, who do you got?
Oh gosh, I guess you pull for Will Z, but it'd be fun to see Bryson have to play, Hovland or Morikawa in the next round, and maybe DJ or Casey after that.
I don't disagree. I mean, I say we just root for Bryson to move on.
I'll take Bryson too because I'm going to rephrase. The only reason I wanted to see him lose is because I could see full tilt, but he's so entertaining to watch. So I want that 110%. So yeah, we'll take Bryson going on to the lead 8. Now we move down to the next one where Kevin mentioned the two captains here are the favorites in the range. You got Hovland, the 13th seed at 94, Answer at 77, Wiesberger 62, Streelman 63. Hovland's the favorite here, but Answer and Wiesberger are not going to be easy pushovers by any means. So Kevin, what do you have in this one?
Yeah, I like Abe this week. Good President's Cup, good showing last time out, and really feel like a guy who's going to keep it in play and is on top of his iron game is going to be tough to beat.
100% with you there. What about you, Jesse?
I agree. I mean, I got Answer into the final day in my bracket. So,
I like it. No, I love Answer. What he showed us at the President's Cup, he's not scared of anybody at all.
Right.
Like what he did against Tiger Woods. I know it's not the Tiger Woods we grew up watching, but he still should whip everybody's butt when he's on. And Answer did not care. Like it was impressive watching him not back down. And he did it the whole tournament basically. So I like Answer. He's coming in really good form as well. Finished 17th here last year in his debut. So I like him quite a bit. I'll be with you. They're like Hovland's fun and all, but we've seen Hovland when he gets derailed and just keeps going. It's so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But give me Abe. I like Abe quite a bit as well. I think one of our first unanimous choices. That's good. And then the bottom part here, this is a fun one. Morikawa at 10-4, one of the most expensive golfers here. The 4 seed. Billy Ho at 72, Homa at 74, Poston at 63. As much as I love Homa, if Morikawa's irons are on like they usually are, it's going to be very tough for anyone in this pod to beat him. So I'm taking Kawa. What about you, Jesse?
Yeah, that's who I got too. I don't think on DraftKings I'll play anybody in this particular pod because I do like Answer, like I said, to get all the way to the final day. So, but yeah, I mean, when Morikawa's another one of those guys who's very good, obviously on approach, so that can be very demoralizing as well.
What about you, Kevin?
Yeah, I'd play Morikawa as well. If you want to save money and try and find just a guy who's not going to beat Abe or Kokrak or Finau or DeChambeau, then it might be worth looking at Max.
Yeah, Max's form, like, sure, he missed the cut of the players, but I really don't care about that. The form he came coming into that tournament was just disastrous on so many levels for so many players. I kind of let that one go. He took a week off, which he probably needed to do because he played that missed goes his 9th straight week of golf. Like I don't care who you are. That's a lot of golf. So I like Max as well. If you want to be different, I'm 100% on board with that. And if I'm paying up for someone, it's not going to be Morikawa, which scares me because I just said that he's probably going to win the whole damn thing now. But I love Abe as well. So it comes out of strategy, like you guys were saying. So Abe versus Morikawa, we got Abe going to the Elite 8.
Yeah, I think you do for salary purposes, right?
Yep.
It'd be awfully tough to have DJ
Bryson.
Bryson.
Yep. I'm with you. We got Abe. So we move on to the right side of the bracket now. Halfway through this one, this 2 seed JT might have one of the hardest draws in this deal. He's 11-2. He's the second most expensive player. You got Usti at 81, Kisner at 76, Kuchar at 67. A couple past winners here. This is one of the only pods where all 4 golfers have played all 4 times here. JT 24th, 4th, 39th, 61st. Usti 5th, 9th, 17th, 2nd. Not bad. Kisner 1st, 2nd, 17th, 38th. Kuchar 2nd, 9th, 30th, 9th. That's a lot of good finishes in this one pod. Like, this is pretty good. Obviously, Kuchar's not this guy anymore, but Usti and Kiz could definitely show up at a tournament like this. JT's great. What do you like here, Kevin?
It's Usti then JT. And JT, I'd only play him because you feel like so many more people are going to gravitate towards DJ over JT.
Yeah, I like that theory here. What about you, Jesse?
Yeah, it's the group of death, man. I got Kisner coming out. He's also my one and done pick, which you'll see when you get that email. So, yeah, I got Kisner winning this particular group.
See, I like Usti and Kiz. I like them both. Like, if I was making multiple lineups, I'd definitely make sure I had one of each because I like them a ton. For salary purposes, I'll take the Kisner side here for what we're building on this deal, but I like them both. I personally don't have them advancing past this next round, but I'll probably regret that because this next round, I think this might be the event, guys. Matthew Fitzpatrick is built for something like this. He doesn't have to shoot 45 under par, doesn't have to do anything like that. Just pars are good on a lot of holes, and then he can sneak in his birdies. Fitzpatrick is the 15 seed. He's $8,700. You got Wolf at 69, who's broken. You got Corey Connors at 78, which is interesting. And then you got Mr. Jordan Spieth at $9,300 playing outstanding golf. So this is actually a fun one because Fitz is not even the favorite in his own pod, which is interesting. Jesse, you've been Team Spieth for a while now. Are you staying with him in this bracket?
Yes. Yes. If it wasn't for Augusta, I would have won and done Jordan Spieth this week. I would like him to come out of this group and actually win the whole thing.
Wolf and Connors have never played this event. Fitzpatrick 61st, 36th, 17th, 38th. Spieth 24th, 17th, 30th, 9th. Obviously, Fitzpatrick and Spieth both coming in outstanding form. Kevin, what do you like in this pod?
Yeah, it's Spieth for me too. And if you really wanted to save some money, then I would go Corey Connors. His form is awesome. Tee to green, genius. You know, he keeps the ball in play, hits a lot of greens. If he putts it all, he's got a chance to win this bracket and gain you a lot of points. But I would go Spieth first.
And the one thing about this real quick about match play is, you know, it kind of negates bad putters because you're not thinking the same way on match play as you are in stroke play. So, you know, Connors, you know, he could catch fire with this putter.
Yeah. Yeah. And if he only has to putt well, maybe on a handful of holes instead of all the holes.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Like you're saying, it does that's a good point. It's a very good point. So Spieth moves on here, but I like the conversation with Connors there because I think he is very live. As much as I like Fitzpatrick, as much as Spieth's playing great golf, Connors is very, very live in this event. As we've seen, you know, his 7th and his 3rd place finish at the previous 2 events before the Honda, where he took the Honda off. So I like that. That call is very, very intriguing because he's one of the better approach players in the game. So we got that. Kisner versus Spieth. You have Kisner, obviously, Jesse.
Yes.
Kevin, who do you want? Kis or Spieth?
I'd go Spieth.
I'm going to go Spieth too, and I love Kisner, but this top corner of the bracket, this is why even JT, like, it's a tough corner to pick, guys. We'll go Spieth into the Elite Eight. Something, if you asked me in January, would not even be on the table. So that is fun golf. Golf is great. We move to the next spot here. Cantlay, the 10th seed, 98 hundo. Matsuyama, 82. Carlos Ortiz, 68. Brian Harman, 72. Similar to Connors, Harman's playing really, really good golf, which is intriguing. Cantlay, on paper, should run away with this one. Before I hand it over, Cantlay 24th and 17th the last 2 years. Matsuyama's played all 4 years, nothing better than 19th. Ortiz debut. Harman didn't play last go-around, but got a 9th the year before. Kevin, what do you like in this one?
Yeah, I'd go Brian Harman. This is a pod that I'm probably going to punt and try and save some money for P. Reed down below.
All righty. What about you, Jesse?
So what you're saying is that Brian Harman is the Oral Roberts of this tournament. I got you.
Absolutely.
I got Cantlay. I don't mind Brian Harman, though. So,
yeah, we're going to go Harman on this one just to save some cash. Cantlay should win. Don't get me wrong, but I think Harman's very, very live here. Very, very live. So we'll take the discount and go Brian Harman on this one. But, yeah, that's a fun one. And you mentioned the next one here, the 7th seed, Patty Reed. $9,600. If there's ever a man for an event like this, 24th, 9th, 51st, 9th, he can play, get in people's heads, match play specialist. Neiman 8,000, Bezenhout 76, Bubba 74, Bubba 40th, 1st, 9th, 28th. The other two have not played here before. Jesse, what do you like in this range?
I got Patrick Reed. I do think he'll be chalk, though. A lot of people just, you know, obviously associate Patrick Reed with match play. And traditionally, I think he's done better in the Ryder Cup than in this type of event. But, you know, I got Patrick Reed coming out. I think Bubba's interesting. You know, I mean, obviously he's past winner here. So,
yeah, Pat Reed's, if my number is correct here, he's 7-5-2 at this event. So doesn't light the world on fire, but he gets the job done. Kevin, what do you have in this one?
Yeah, I'd go Reed than Bubba. It seems like it's kind of a Bubba track. He likes to play this place, obviously, with a high finish. But I'd go Reed than Bubba.
All right. Well, Reed moves on in our group, but I'm just going to say I think Bezenhout is very, very live. I think that's a very, very intriguing one if you're building a few extra lineups and you want a value play at 76. I think he is very, very live in this one. So Reed versus Harmon. Kevin, you have Reed, I'm assuming.
Yeah, we all want to see Reed Spieth, right?
Yes. I'm just going to move that one on. Oh, man. Okay, well, I'll get to the I'll recapitulate 8 in a minute. But if these matchups take place, I know what I'm doing on Saturday or whatever, Friday, whatever day it's on, because good God, that's going to be outstanding. All right, let's go to the bottom right quadrant now. The 6th seed, Xander Schauffele, 10,000. Scheffler, 79. J-Day, 84. Andy Sullivan, 6,000. This is another pretty wide open one, in my opinion, if you kind of break it down. Xander, 24th and 17th. Scheffler's never played here. J-Day, 61st, 36th, 58th, 1st. Sullivan hasn't played here in a couple times within 58th and 18th. Kevin, what stands out to you in this one?
I'm going Scotty Scheffler, another UT guy. Apparently has a lot of history around Austin Country Club, so I like Scotty Scheffler.
I think it's a good pod to take a chance on. So, Jesse, what about you?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind Scheffler or Jason Day, either one. I've personally got Xander moving on, but that means he probably is not going to move on since I've picked him to move on. Just keep that in mind. So for DraftKings purposes, I will not probably play any of these guys, but Scheffler and Day present a couple options there.
I think I'm going to go Scheffler. I'm a big Xander fan, but I just don't feel it in this one, at least that price point. Day's already getting talked up a bit, so I'm going to go Scotty Scheffler as well, save some cash, and move on to the next bracket where we have the 11th seed, Rory McIlroy, the 11th seed, man. And he's been playing good golf, too. That's just how deep golf is these days. And Rory's finished 9th, 36th, 30th, and 4th in his 4 trips. You got Cam Smith at 85, Lonto at 69, Poulter's down to 67, Poulter's 17th and 5th in his 2 visits here. Pretty fun little quadrant here. Jesse, what do you like?
I've got Cam Smith winning the quadrant. Poulter's he's not playing the best, but obviously again, match play does change that a little bit. I don't know where Rory's swing is at. He admitted he was struggling with it. Maybe he's fixed it. That could be a reason to on DraftKings take some chances. But as far as who I think wins it, I think it's Cam Smith. What
about you, Kevin?
Yep, I agree. Cam Smith for me.
Ooh, we are on the same page. I had this one the second I saw it today on Twitter. I was like, this is Cammy Smith time. $8,500. I love the price. I love the form he's in. I love it because when he struggled in recent weeks, it's like one horrific hole. Then he plays great the rest of the time. So like we said many times, doesn't matter here. Like that's fine. So I love Cam Smith in this event. If you do look at Poulter, though, he's 6-2 in this field. So he's played very well in match play, as we know, with Pultz. But Scheffler versus Cam Smith to the Elite 8. Jesse.
I got Cam.
Kevin?
Yeah, I agree.
Yep, we're on the same page on that one. Wow, that was easy. That was easy stuff. The last 2 pods we have here, Berger's range at 14th seed. Berger 9,000, English 73, Todd 64, EVR 64. This one I'm going to say 2 things. Stinks. And B, like everyone's already punting EVR in this range. I'm just going to throw it out there. I've heard it everywhere already because they don't know about Berger's health. So, Jesse, what do you see here?
For DraftKings purposes, just go ahead and X this one out for me. I have Berger moving on. I think English is a guy who is potentially super low owned on DraftKings. So you may want to consider him for that reason because of his recent kind of just whatever he's been going through. But I got Berger moving on here.
What about you, Kevin?
Yeah, I go Harris English.
Yeah, I like the strategy there. English and Todd, I think, are both pretty live because EVR is going to be pretty darn popular. Really, really popular at 6,400. And Berger, there's a lot of question marks, but English, we know if he figures it out, great iron player. Same with Brendan Todd. So they both intrigue me if you need to go there. But we'll go English for our bracket. But I'm kind of not even looking down here, to be honest, like you said, Jesse. The last one, the 3rd seed, John Rom at 10-7. We know he finished second to DJ 3 years ago, 52nd and 24th. You got Ryan Palmer at 7,000, Lowry at 71, Lowry's in 24th, 51st, 51st, and Sebastian Munoz at 61. Kevin, what do you like in this one?
Yeah, it's John Rom for me. And of all the top guys, DJ, JT, Bryson, and Rom, I'd go Rom over the other 3.
Yeah, I like that call. I think he's got the quote-unquote best path to the Final Four in this one. But we'll see. What about you, Jesse?
Yeah, I got Rom all the way to the last day. So
It's Rom over English, and that answers that question already before I ask it. So all right then, let's recap the Elite Eight. We have DJ Casey, Bryson Answer, Spieth Reed, Cam Smith, John Rom. That seems pretty fun to me. But Kevin, DJ or Casey?
It's going to be Casey in an upset.
Jesse?
I can dig that. I mean, I'm fine with that.
We're going Casey then. Wow, I love it. That'll be some fun television. Bryson versus Answer, Jesse.
I've got Answer. I like Answer to
I.
face a bunch of dudes down and get to the final day.
What about you, Kevin?
Yeah, I agree. TV is usually pretty good for a day or two, and then all of a sudden it turns pretty rough, and those executives are like, "What the hell happened?"
Yep. Yeah. No, I think Answer's very, very live in this one, so I'm hoping we're right here, because if Casey and Answer get to the Final Four, we saved a lot of money and gonna have a lot of fun on paper here. Spieth versus Reed, the one we all want to see. Kevin,
I'd go Spieth.
Jesse wants Spieth too, don't you?
Oh, yeah, he's my champion.
Okay.
He's the guy I'm picking to win this.
Then we got Spieth moving on there. Cam Smith versus John Rom. I think we both it sounds like we all like Rom, but I think Cam Smith is extremely live in this. But Jesse, you have Rom?
Yeah, I have Rom.
Kevin?
Yeah, same.
Okay, we're gonna go with Rom then. All right, Final Four. Casey, Answer, Spieth, Rom. Casey versus Answer, Jesse.
I have Answer. But I think PC is live this week.
What about you, Kevin?
Yeah, I lean Casey over Answer.
I'm gonna go Answer, but we'll move Casey on because Jesse liked Casey also, so we'll do that. I'm just trying to make it.
I was in the middle. You like Answer. He likes Casey.
Yeah, I'm just gonna make it civil. I think we're happy either way with that one. Spieth versus Rom. Jesse has Spieth. Yeah. Kevin.
Yeah, I'd go Spieth too.
Whoo! I would have had Rom there, but Spieth in the finals would be electric. So Spieth versus Casey. Jesse has Spieth winning the whole thing. Kevin?
Yeah, I'll have a bet on that.
Who? Okay, if it was Spieth versus Answer, would anything change?
No, I think Spieth's the guy this week.
Okay, so we have Spieth winning the whole thing. Like I'm telling you, if we did this podcast 3 months ago, that's pretty wild right there. That's pretty wild. But to think no JT, no DJ, no Rom, no Bryson after the Elite Eight, that's pretty electric. So I guess the basics of it is if you think this is legit Final Four material, you can build some pretty awesome lineups because you'll have money to spend. So that'll be some pretty cool stuff. I did want to – I mentioned we can do like a brief DK, more centric, like really brief thing because I think our discussions of the pod should help people build lineups in that regard. But Kevin said it, if he's paying up for one of the guys, he's paying up for Rom. Is that what you said, Kevin?
Yeah, absolutely.
What about you, Jesse? Who would be your pay-up guy out of the big dogs?
I think Rom has the easiest path. When I say easiest, of course, that's relative, to get to Saturday, Sunday. So I don't disagree with that as far as the guys above 10K or, even really above 9K except for Jordan Spieth.
Okay. Let's have some fun here. Who would be we'll start with you, Kevin. Who would be your biggest, let's go upset to come out of a pod? Not to get to the elite, like the Final Four, but to get out to like the final 16 or whatever it is.
You could see a guy like Burned coming out and beating Answer and Hovland and making a little bit of a run.
Yeah, I think he's interesting for sure. What about you, Jesse?
I like the Harmon call you guys were talking about before. But don't sleep on my dude Rosner.
Yeah, dude. If Rosner does it, you're gonna get so many text messages. I'm not gonna be able to stop bugging you because you're not gonna be able to handle that smoke. That's all I know.
Harmon has that kind of little bulldog type deal like Kisner too, where a shorter, mad at the world type look, and Georgia Bulldog, just like Kiz, and man, you could easily see him making a little run and loving a chance to play Patrick Reed or Bubba.
Well, yeah, and that's the beauty because, like you said, his mentality. Reed wouldn't be able to scare him. Like, I'm not saying Reed scares a lot of guys because they're professional golfers, but just the aura that Reed has, the way he just doesn't give a crap, and he's great in match play. Harmon doesn't care. Like, he's just gonna walk up there and he gets more pissed at himself than anything. So I could see the Harmon one I like quite a bit. I think Bezenhout is pretty live. in his bracket as well with Watson, Neiman, and Reed. If Reed stumbles, I like Bez to come out of there, but it should be a fun one. If you had to, so you guys like Rom to win it all. I'm just trying to think of what other kind of sneakier plays do you guys like this week if you kind of went off the radar?
There's some good ones.
Yeah.
I like Finau quite a bit.
Okay.
I'd love to see a Finau DeChambeau match.
I think Finau will be low owned because I think Answer will be more popular than people think. So Finau will be kind of under the radar in terms of ownership. What about you, Jesse?
Yeah, Kokrak is another guy that I think, that little pod there, man. I mean, it's stacked. And, if you think Bryson obviously doesn't get past the 16th round, switching around on Finau, Kokrak, Zalatoris, in my opinion, or even if you want to throw in Fratelli and kind of swapping around there might be a good idea if you're doing a bunch of lineups.
Yeah, and if you really feel like DJ, JT, and Rom are going to have a good chance to make a deep run, then you got to play guys like Fratelli and Harmon and play 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, and it's like we said, don't focus as much on the Final Four. Like that's what you want, obviously, but focus on getting 6 to Elite 8. If you do that, you're going to be doing pretty darn good. I'd like to say you're going to guarantee cash and then probably finish pretty high.
Well, you still get points for the consolation match too, right?
Yeah. The third place match on Sunday too.
So that's why the Final Four is obviously huge. But
Sunday's the woe though to watch. That's the worst,
especially the consolation bracket. Well, the TV coverage, because there's only 4 guys out there,
right?
So it's a commercial's wet dream.
Yes,
because there's just everything. And how many times can we see the Austin Bridge? And like, what else can we do?
NBC pays a lot of bills this week on Sunday.
But last question I have has nothing to do with DraftKings. If they had the coverage like the players there, where you could watch every single group, but you had it for this, like you could watch every single group, every match, every shot, how much would you pay for it? At least for the opening, 64, those first 3 matches.
I mean, I'm open to paying $100 a month to watch every shot from every golfer every month, but I pay 10 and get to see 2 groups. So, whatever.
What about you, Kevin?
Yeah, I'll let Jesse pay for mine.
I love it. Yeah, I can't even pay for the baseball package anymore because it annoys me so much. But like events like this, I like the idea. If I could just, because they'll have enough guys on, but if I have Harmon versus Cantlay, and it's like on the 16th hole, I want to watch those final 2 holes. Like, let me watch those 2 holes. I don't care about anything else.
Yeah.
But
Well, they do the TV coverage does do a good job of like when it goes live or whatever, like on the Golf Channel or NBC or whatever, that they show a lot of shots, but it's just one of those things where I agree. You may want to watch a few holes at the beginning of that match if that's a big match for you.
All right. Corrales Punta Cana is going on. We're not going to talk about that tonight, but the field's actually pretty good. So, like, I remember I was happy about the Puerto Rico last time, and I sweated that one until midday Sunday. I will play the Corrales. That will be happening.
It's so good that Charlie Hoffman's the betting favorite.
Him and Tomas Peters. Watch out. But final thoughts. Kevin, advice, thoughts, anything?
Just looking forward to having some golf on Wednesday.
Yes, that will be cool too. Jesse, anything for you?
Sounds like Kevin has a mess to clean up, so we better let him go. But just don't forget to try not to mind fuck yourself so bad this week, because it is difficult when you start making lineups and you're like, oh wait, that could happen. Oh, that could happen. It becomes really, really taxing on your brain.
Yeah, the best advice I can give, and I'm not an expert at this match play at all. Find like 3 or 4 guys that you just have to have, and then use those other spots as your pivots. Like we talked about, like in certain pods, there's 4 guys. Make one of each 4, but keep your other 4 guys. Stuff like that. Don't pivot all 6 guys all the time. That's where you'll just end up being like, oh, shit. So it's almost like having a core cascade, but not quite, because it's a little difficult to do it in this event. But all right, that'll wrap us up this week. You can find Kevin on Twitter at Kevin's Delight, Jesse at DFS Golf Gods. I'm at BDentric, the podcast at Always Press DFS. We'll be back with you guys next week, but for now, the 2021 WGC match play in the books. Catch you guys later.